Hey, there we go. We are live. So we will just start this one off with the chat check, as always. Looks like it's working on my side. And we'll start off with a poll. Pretty easy one. Was it a good race? I think it's pretty much going to boil down to either you like the guy that won or you didn't, because there's no in between here. People either hated this race or loved it. Larson put on a clinic. 100% Larson absolutely wore him out. If you've ever watched a race at a short track, sometimes it's just the way it goes. In North Wilkesboro, apparently it has gone like this several times before. Obviously, I saw some races at North Wilkesboro, but I was super young to actually remember. So it is what it is, though. I thought it was a good race. I didn't have a huge problem with it. I like the racetrack. It was not as good as the Truck Series race, and that's actually what I want to get into. The reason it wasn't as good as the Truck Series race is because the next gen car is just not set up to race at short tracks. They need to come up with some type of package. Personally, I think next season, because it would take a long time to fix this, but they need to look at a way of getting that wing at the bottom of the car with the splitter and all that. Get rid of the splitter. Get rid of the underbody stuff for the aerodynamic stuff, and just get rid of it for the short track package. I know it would take a process because the entire body is tied into that underwing, so it's not just some easy fix where you can take it off. But they do need to figure out a way to sort of take that wing off, and I think that would be your first big step in fixing this package. Mike Ora says, "Woohoo! What's up, Mike Ora? Good to see you on here." Chrome Diesel said, "Hey, BB, great to see North Wilkesboro back." For reacting, yeah, I've seen a lot worse races than this. At least the first half of the race was entertaining because you saw Kyle Larson basically go from the back to the front. He did the old thing at the short track, basically where you start at the back and work your way up to the front for passing points. Or back in the day before points, you just got extra money for doing that. Obviously, it wasn't by his choice, but that's sort of the way it played out and what it reminded me of. Houston Hocut, what's up, man? Escobar, to go from last to first in 25 laps was insane. Yeah, I mean, he absolutely put a whooping on him. The last time I remember All-Star race being a blowout like this was the Jeff Gordon Jurassic Park car that NASCAR told Ray Evernham never to bring back to the racetrack. Mark Barnum says Larson schooled him. Yeah, he definitely put a absolute whooping on him. Mike Ora, I don't care who won. I needed Wilkesboro back in my life. Yeah, so I think part of it is I'm just super happy to see North Wilkesboro back. So like it didn't bother me from that perspective. And the racing for the Truck Series race was great. So like I didn't mind the track. I didn't mind that this race was a blowout because I know why the racing wasn't good here, right? We know the next gen car short track package just isn't where it needs to be. So that's my takeaway from it. I'm happy with the track. I'm disappointed with the next gen car. I guess so. That's probably the next poll I'll put up because it looks like this is a runaway yes. Fans of the worst. They want North Wilkesboro off the schedule now because of how bad the race is, even if it's the car that sucks. Oh yeah, so that's 100% where I'm at. North Wilkesboro needs to stay on the schedule. The car needs some adjustments and some fine tuning for the short track packages. Red Frog says, for the 10 millionth time, get rid of the car, use the Xfinity car. Yeah, I think a lot of people wouldn't mind seeing that as well. That would be a good fix for the car is to get rid of it. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. How good to see possibly the cleanest race I've ever seen, says Shaw. Yeah, it was definitely clean. There was some bumping and banging in the middle of the pack for position and stuff like that. So it wasn't like the cleanest, but they were using the bumper to move each other. That was for sure. But nobody just got flat out dumped really, other than the All-Star Open. Justin says, awesome race. Kyle Larson, love seeing Larson pass the whole field. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like before Larson got the lead, it was actually cool to watch him work the field and get up there. No caution at 100 laps. Would have been interesting. Yeah, that's true. As I predicted, Kyle Larson wins the All-Star races. Jamie Sparks, yeah, if they had to make green flag pit stops, that probably would have been way more interesting, more entertaining for sure. But yeah, Jamie Schweitzer, I'm with you. I predicted Kyle Larson to win too, so we're on the same page there. Once again, I'd like to point that out. I did pick another winner, so I feel good about that one. No caution at 100 laps. I would have been interested to read that one. Remove the underwing diffuser and add more horsepower, says Chrome Diesel. I don't even think horsepower would have mattered here because they couldn't even use the horsepower they had. But I do think getting rid of the underwing and stuff like that definitely would have helped. One big money on Young Money, says Corn Fed Covers. The Corn Fed Covers having a good day. I definitely picked the right dude, but I didn't get a chance. This is only place to put my wager. Cup driver in the truck race. We would never go back to this bar again. LOL, says Red Frog. That's true. The truck race was just so much more fun to watch. Who did Bubba flip off? Says JFB48. That's a good question. I would love to know. Hopefully it comes out whether he was flipping somebody off as a joke or just flipping somebody off to be mad at him. Hopefully the internet gets to the bottom of that story. NASCAR needs to do something. The next gen car can use a regular Camaro, Mustang, Camry, use the Gen 5 safety features, get rid of the diffuser, unseal the car, says Aldous. Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely an option, 100%. But like I said, it's not going to be an easy fix because that's how the body ties into the car. So they'll have to do some finagling to get that done. So it won't be anything that happens immediately this season. This was the worst race ever because my driver won the race. I loved it, bro. Me and my boy Gray were hyped, says Danny and Gray. Good to see you on here, Danny and Gray. Glad you could get the dub there. Super cool race for sure. If you're a Kyle Larson fan, Cal Tiki also going little Kyle with the triple bologna burger there. Chrome Diesel, my take is you can't judge this race because it wasn't run a full 36-40 car grid. Package isn't fixed and it wasn't a 400 lap race. That's another thing. So if it's a points paying race, it's a whole different dynamic because there's more cars on track, there's more laps, and you're going to get, like I said, those green flag pit stops. Pike Pole said Kyle put on a clinic. I was surprised more people, more experienced drivers did not do better. That's it's just one of them things. You either hit the setup in this deal or you don't. Escobar says in 1979, didn't NASCAR have two different Cup cars for different tracks, the older, bigger car and the new, smaller one? Yeah, and I think teams switched in between them. They also did the same thing in 2012 or whenever they went to the next 2008 maybe. Whenever they went to the next gen car of tomorrow, whatever, they had the one with the wing and then they had the regular Cup car. Did you see the Bubba Wallace interview after the race where he shot the finger as he was acting like he was just adjusting his fire suits? Yeah, I saw it. I don't know who he's flipping off, so I don't know. Mark Barnum says, good to see Caitlin Larson shotgunning beers in Victory Lane. And possibly is Bubba going to get a fine for that? We know Dale Jr. got a fine for saying the S word, so it could be one of those deals where Bubba gets a fine. I guess is the only other thing I can take away from that. But yeah, Caitlin Larson likes to do the old beer shotgun. So good on her. Larson domination from bottom to first, says Mike Concho. Yeah, so it was fun watching him run through the field. Then after that, you just had to watch the battle for because he had it under control. Any BBs at North Wilkesboro, BB? I think they had some bologna burgers there. Like I said, I was on the infield. I didn't see anything on the in the grandstands because I never made it to the grandstands for anything. I was trapped on the infield the whole time that I was there, so I don't know what they had for concessions up there, but hopefully they had one. Besides Larson dominating the race, was pretty good. I loved more open. It's more open than the actual race, says Noah. So I do like that there was a lot of room to run, and then you could, if you bump, you could bump them. So I did like that. I think with more cars on the track and then having to possibly make green flag pit stops, that really would have made it better too. Quiet Cat says he just flat out kicked their butts. That's a fact. He put a clinic on. Bill Hall, not sure what you expected. This was how the track was back in the day. Yeah, it didn't bother me at all. But like I said, it would have been a better, more entertaining race if they fixed the short track package. Like I said, it would have been probably more like the truck race if they could fix the short track package. They need to go to smaller brakes and wheels, says Houston Hocut. Good luck on that. The OEMs pushed that agenda on that one. Justin says, I thought the Watermelon Man and Logano were going to wreck each other and mess everything up. No, everybody sort of played nice. That was not running for the lead. Quiet Cat says, "Butts, yeah, I know what you meant. I don't like competition cautions. They feel more like non-competition cautions." Says Shy. Yeah, I agree with you. It would have been better if they just let it run. Jamie Schweitzer says, hit the like button. And Hamlin sucks. So, yeah, if you want to hit the like button, I would appreciate it. Escobar says, for instance, Earnhardt would race the number 2 Olds, which was older and bigger car at super speedways, and the Monte Carlo at the rest of the tracks for smaller cars. Yeah, for sure, 100%. I do remember that. Jeff Henson says, baloney. What's up, Jeff Henson? William Wagaman says, well, 2 races at North Wilkesboro, a sprint car race in Ohio, where the hell of the week way to go. Young Money didn't Ross Chastain or Denny Hamlin try, and we wreck him today. Could not catch him, so yeah, they couldn't wreck him today because they couldn't catch him. Let's see, Napa Racing Fan. I know for some this race was boring. Good news for them. The main event was only an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, so there you go. For all you guys that wanted a shorter race, that's what a shorter race looks like. And they even had the pre-planned break in there. I know for some, sorry, I just read that one. What's up, guys? What's up, Mr. Pearson? Bubba was flipping off Eric from Out of the Groove. LOL, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I can easily get to the bottom of that one. Aldis Carosa, 900 horsepower, twin turbo hybrid engine, 11,000 RPM, should save the car. Yeah, but they couldn't even use all the horsepower here anyway, so I don't know that would save this one. But that being said, there are some things that they could do. Jeff Henson says, great stuff. Appreciate it, Jeff. William Wagaman, what a hell of a trophy. The Junior Johnson Cup. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And also getting raised up into Victory Lane. I like that too. The old Victory Lane crane. So considering this race wasn't points, does Kyle still get the sweep? Yeah, he gets the sweep. The first NASCAR's return to North Wilkesboro, and Kyle Larson sweeps the NASCAR Touring Series side of things. Napa Racing Fan says, I get track position as king, but someone should have tried to put under green for fresher tires in the last 100 laps, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, that's something I thought about too. I'm surprised somebody didn't do a Hail Mary and try something like that. Alda says, let's go for a 3-week throwback swing at the Carolinas Sunday on 6 p.m., Darlington Southern 500, Labor Day weekend, Rockingham 400 a week later, and Wilkes County 400 a week later. It would definitely help as far as the traveling goes. I know they would appreciate it as far as that. It would sort of be like a 1 month kind of break for them because everything in that particular deal is super close to where most teams are located. Whitman, let's go, baby. Love to see the 3 out of the 4 All-Star race wins he's been a part of. So there you go. That's pretty cool. Young Money should have an Amish broom in his hand, says William Wagaman. Yep, he got the sweep done this weekend, so that's definitely really cool. Red Frog, everybody's favorite topic each week. Deegan hit everything but the pace car this week. LOL. So there you go. I think her front suspension broke there, but I when I watched it in replay, if you look at the right tire, it looks like the right tire broke. But either way, she took out old Dean. No doubt about it. Napa Racing Fan, I don't get how anyone could think this was worse than the atrocious All-Star race last year at Texas, especially the finish. Yeah, for sure. If you want to compare them, I'd rather watch this than Texas because at least you get to see the car sliding around and fighting for grip. Escobar, I hate the fact that they don't show Victory Lane celebration anymore. They just show them on the front stretch. Yeah, it is pretty lame, especially at this place because Victory Lane here is actually really special looking. Jeff Henson, the Melon says, I'm sorry, LOL. So there you go. It's all Ross's fault that this race sucked, by the way. Shrubber says, how can it be a good race when you catch somebody, they move over for you? I don't know. Napa Racing Fan, perhaps this year's format was too simple for this car / package's own good. I don't know. This car just hasn't been good at short tracks is all I can tell you historically. Red Frog, at least she's doing the hitting instead of being the one hit. Yeah, she has been the one that was been getting hit, to be fair. Red Frog, paybacks or a biatch, says William Wagaman. Aldis Carosa, I don't necessarily know that it was a payback so much as I think something in that car broke. Personally, I'm just looking at the right front tire in that deal because I don't think she would have took herself out for payback. Aldis says NASCAR should model its car similar to the Australian supercars. Double wishbone, single lug, stays 5-speed, H-pattern shifter, and transaxle. Yeah, I think an actual shifter in there would actually probably help too. It's It's only payback if you finish ahead of them. Otherwise, it's just a laughing out loud. Says Red Frog. So to my point, you were making the same point. Mike Concho, DW in the booth was fantastic. Brings back old memories. Jeff Henson also saying DW. The only bad thing about that, they didn't let him do the boogity boogity boogity. I did miss that. William Wagman, I was holding my ears at the start. Shout out to DW, says Jeff Henson. So there you go. The duality of DW. Some people like him, some people don't. Elite, what's up, man? Got the dub. Let's go. So there you go. You can officially celebrate now, Elite. It wasn't a Truck Series win. Aldis Carroza, only 2 segments for the All-Star race. Four segments would have been better. Either that or no segments and just let them run and make green flag pit stops. There's all kinds of ways to look at it. Danny and Gray says, I'm pre-ordering both from the weekend. I'm up to 36 signed Larson 124s. That's awesome, dude. I love it. Jeff Henson with LOL. DW was hilarious. Him and Clint Boyer. He's the only person that can out-talk Clint Boyer. Like, he didn't worry about getting cut off. He just kept talking. Most entertaining thing that happened at Wilkesboro today was McDowell trying to sideswipe Gibbs in the open. Yeah, that was awesome. Michael McDowell was not having any of it. So for everybody wondering what would happen when Ty Gibbs wrecked somebody in the Cup Series or did something to somebody in the Cup Series they didn't like, Ty Gibbs found out today, right? And like a lot of people were saying, that stuff's not going to fly in the Cup Series. So there you go. Michael McDowell put him on notice. You can move a lot of people, but you can't move me without getting some payback. Jeff Henson, old dude champ. So there you go. Texas should only be for IndyCar. It's much better track for IndyCar over NASCAR. If they reconfigure Texas, it should be back to its 2017 layout with the PJ1. I think they should make Texas a short track, so it puts more pressure on them to fix the stupid short track package that NASCAR has managed to ruin somehow. Elite Precision says the race wasn't a failure. The trucks put on a good race. I agree the other day. So let's not sit here and blame the track. The Gen 7 is just so aero sensitive right now. It can definitely be better. Yeah, and I think the first thing they can do to get rid of that is take that underbody aerodynamic stuff from the underbody. Just take that off. Throw it in the trash can. I know it would take a total redesign on the body as far as that goes because the whole body ties into that underbody. But if they could ever fix that, they would be on their way to doing something. Jeff Henson says, Ty, LOL, NDW. Danny and Grays, I think Boyer out of the booth. Let's get the original trio back. Yeah, so the double Mac Joy booth was pretty good. Jamie McMurray, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Joy. That was a really good booth. I enjoyed that one. Alda says, BB, the SRX should have a longer season from Memorial Day Saturday, Labor Day Saturday. Season starts on CBS and the CW and ends on ABC and ESPN. I think they're eventually going to expand the SRX, but it's in the development stages right now. So I think you just be patient on that one. Gregson followed too much that he crashed into the sidewall. I appreciated Jeff Henson with the super chat. Gregson followed too much that he crashed to the inside wall, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, he took himself out. It was cool that he got voted in, and it's cool that he ran as good as he could run with that damaged race car. But yeah, he basically took himself out by clipping that inside wall and then took out several other people with him. Taylor says, if Larson wasn't so fast, would have been a pretty good race, but why push it for no points? That's pretty good too. I also think if they didn't have the built-in cautions, it would have been a better race too. Because if you actually have to pit at that racetrack under caution, it makes for a much more interesting race. DW was good for small doses, like the long runs. Said Sven Larson. Yeah, the long runs were where it was at. Because you're going to see tire fall off and things like that. Unfortunately, Kyle Larson just had a way better setup than everybody. So a lot of people are going to disagree with that. Jeff Henson says, yes, Quiet Cat. I want Rockingham, LOL. I think Rockingham's on its way back as well. Rockingham would have put on a better show tonight with the way the car is right now, says Napa Racing Fan. That's probably a fair statement. Jeff Henson says, big time. Mark 63 says the Cars race was much better. So yeah, pretty much like I predicted, every race except for the Cup race would be way better here at the All-Star. Jeff Henson says, LOL. Aldis says, BB, I hope you got how I would do my format for the All-Star weekend in NASCAR. And Jeff Henson says, baloney. So let's see here. I'm gonna end this poll. Yeah, there you go. And I'm going to start another poll. What was worse tonight? I'm going to go with the track or the car. There we go. We'll get down to the bottom of it because I know a lot of fans are melting down about the track. A lot of fans are melting down about the car. I fall on the car side of things, so we're going to see how this plays out here. An Iowa All Star race would be a good one, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. I think Iowa is a track they need to desperately bring to the Cup Series schedule for sure. Brian Biggs, I enjoyed the race. Larson is so talented; it's unbelievable. Yeah, he's one of the best right now. Jeff Henson says the chits. William Wagaman, okay, we got North Wilkesboro back. Now let's get Rockingham and use one of the Texas states to replace or make room. I think a lot of people would be on board with that. You just have to see who owns the dates and if they would actually be on board with it. Napa Racing Fan says, watching NHRA's return to Route 66 Nationals in Joliet on FS1, the fact that NHRA returned there today should be a good sign for NASCAR returning to Chicagoland, maybe replace the Chicago streets. Yeah, that's up for debate because a lot of people are thinking North Wilkesboro is going to get the date if they don't return to Chicagoland, and then the All Star might move somewhere else, like maybe Rockingham or whatever, something like that. Just another track that NASCAR wants to go back to. The car for sure, says Quiet Cat. 88% right now saying the car. Jeff Henson says the track. Chris R. He just had a rocket ship tonight, though. Yeah, Larson. He was just in another league as far as how his car was handling compared to others. Say Kyle, hello all. I called the 24 wasn't going to run good, and the 5 taking the dub for sure. That's there were several people, including myself, who picked Kyle Larson to win this race. So easy money tonight as far as DraftKings, MGM, wherever you place your entertainment purposes only wagers. Mark says also a points race. There would have been 12 more cars at least. Oh yeah, for sure. More cars on the track, you would have had to deal with a lot more lap traffic and things like that, and they wouldn't have just moved out of the way for you. So that would have added another layer to it. Then you would have had to have green flag pit stops as well, because a lot of these, somebody would have tried to change something up with long runs there. Chrome Diesel says, I like the idea of top 2 plus a fan vote advances to the main. No more segment winners advance like what we saw in the past. Yeah, I was in favor of that. The All-Star Open was definitely way better than it's been previously. Jeff Henson said, I'm loose. Alice Carosa says, Texas should leave NASCAR. Keep it IndyCar only. Sven Larson, I don't know because NASCAR wants to be in Texas some kind of bad. So I don't know that that'll ever happen. Sven Larson says 5 track was great. Hey, so there you go. I agree with you. Shah says, just not a fan of this car, but at least the wheels are staying on more this year. LOL. Yeah, so they fixed one problem. Now they need to fix the short track problem they have with this next gen car as well, Gen 7 car, whatever you want to call it. Matt Robbins says the most exciting part of the race was after the finish. Larson's wife was shotgunning a beer, and Fox went away from the celebration. So there you go. Mark Barnum says, lick that like button. So yeah, if you wanna lick the like button, that would be much appreciated. Jeff Henson says lick. William Wagaman, Clint Boyer should have a gag. They can at least just mute his mic from time to time and let him know that he's muted for now because he's been talking too much. I think he would get the point then. Napa Racing Fan, and I like Clint Boyer, but sometimes he's too much. Personally, I think Iowa is better than Richmond. NASCAR should have learned from the 90s. The late 90s that the bigger market isn't always better. Wilkesboro replaced with Texas and the second New Hampshire date. Yeah, so that's fair. Matt, they did show her. Yeah, but he's saying they cut away from her too quick. I guess was his argument. Jeff Henson says baloney. What's up, Jeff Henson? Ray Hall misses the Indy 500, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, so that was the big news from Indy 500 on bump day. Graham Rahal got bumped. Indy 500 qualifying was more fun and entertaining than All-Star race was today. Crazy Harvey knocked out Rahal by less than a tenth of a mile per hour average. Yep, them's the breaks sometimes. But that is what makes qualifying interesting when somebody actually has to go home. They don't have charters to lock them into the field. Thought I'd throw that out there. Jeff Henson says, I love it. Texas 5 wide, high banked short track. Yeah, for sure. I don't know how you necessarily fix Texas. There's all kinds of ways to go about it, but we'll have to see what they actually do. Jeff Henson says racing, say cow not cow. I feel like one race that needed a few gimmicks, didn't have any. Would have been nice to see a restart with 20 or 10 to go to see if anyone would have made an adjustment to run with the 5 car. I mean, that's fair. It's an all-star race, so you can throw a gimmick like that in. It just depends on your taste, your flavor for an all-star race. Chrome Diesel says, I think Rockingham should be back as the all-star race, but SMI wouldn't like it. Yeah, it's just there's so much politics as far as that goes. But we can dream the impossible dream, right? Finn says, man, how the 5 car went from not being able to pass for 20th to complete domination feels so wrong and icky. Yeah, they made that one adjustment and got new tires, and after that, it was game, set, match. It was over with. Hendrick teams are putting on a clinic this season, says Timber Race. Yeah, so even after they got found with the controversial louvers that Bubba pointed out in his post-race interview, he was giving everybody gold tonight as far as interviews and his antics before the race, and even got a second place finish. So he will. There will be a lot of talk about Bubba Wallace this weekend as well, on and off the track. Matt Robbins says best booth crew of the year. I give Clint a pass. Yeah, like I said, he gets overexcited sometimes and overtalks people. Jeff Henson, I'm here. What's up, Jeff Henson? We know you're here, brother. Aldous says, here's how I would do my open formats. Top 35 in the previous season driver points, top 20 get in via fan boats, 60 laps, 2 segments, 30 laps each. I don't know, for North Wilkesboro, I would give it more laps than that, just because it's such a short track. That would be like a I don't know, 15 seconds per lap. That wouldn't be a very long show. Danny and Gray says, are you coming to Bowman Gray any this season? I'm gonna try to make it out there. I've actually never been, so I'm gonna try. Sorry to change the subject. I put up a video from there this weekend. Yeah, if I go out there, I will let everybody know I'm going out there. But I am going to try. But it's the middle of our late model season, so right now, not looking like I got a whole lot of time for anything. Escobar says we need Kyle Larson and Max Verstappen in some kind of race together. That would be pretty cool. Fix Texas by sending their date to Rockingham. That's my answer. There you go. That's not bad. 11 blows, LOL. Jeff Henson says, come on. Aldous Carosa says, I love how IndyCar does their qualifying format, single car qualifying, no charters. Yep, I agree with that 100%. William Wagaman, Rockingham date could come from Pocono because that place is a snore. Yeah, I agree. Pocono, I love the racetrack, but they don't always put on the best racing. Nerd Channel says, you like Clint Boyer in the booth? Would you rather see him as a driver instead of being in the booth? Yeah, I mean, I hate that his career ended early, but and I'm not saying he's perfect in the booth. He's got some work to do, but I would rather see him as a driver. Wynn needs to change direction and blow Robin Mark's smoke back to Canada and stop polluting my air. LOL, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. We got a border war going on there. Mark 63 says, move the summer Daytona race back to the 4th of July weekend. Just not as exciting in August. They're going to leave it in August because it's going to be the playoff cutoff deal. So and it's maximum drama. That's what they're going for. But yeah, I did like the 4th of July race myself. Are you coming to Bowman Gray this season, Indy? I'm going to try to, Danny and Gray. I'm going to do my best to get out there. And if I do, I'll let everybody know. Aaron Flynn, 1,000 horsepower would fix the short track problems and all their other problems. Guess what? More problems to complain about, says Aaron Flynn. Yeah, I don't know that horsepower would have necessarily helped this one because they couldn't even use all the horsepower they had for this one. But yeah, I mean, more horsepower everywhere else probably is a good idea. William Wagaman, Clint Boyer should get a job. Change the toilet paper rolls in the bathroom. So there you go. There is, like I said, he is polarizing. There's your anti-Clint Boyer sentiment. Where's the hate for the 11, says Jeff Henson? There's plenty of it. I think he was the loudest, as far as TV could tell. He was the loudest boo I saw. Nobody here talking about NASCAR streaming, says Aldous. I mean, I think that if the rumors are true and the Xfinity Series goes streaming, that it is a good idea because in the short term, people are going to complain, but after a while, it's going to be like newspapers. I remember a lot of people complained that newspapers were going online. You don't hear those people complaining anymore because eventually it just is what it is. Streaming eventually is going to take over cable, so it won't even be a thing to think about. Danny and Gray says, "All right, gotta head off. Have a good one. Take care, brother." I appreciate it, Danny Gray. You take it easy and have a good one too. Jeff Henson, LOL. Duke Chronic says, "Hey, Bologna Burger, do you like seeing the sweep by one of the best ever?" I did love. I mean, he's my favorite driver, so I did like seeing it. Pocono and Michigan should be owned by Roger Penske too, like IMS. I mean, you have to talk to Roger about that. I can't tell Roger how to spend his money. What's up, BB and everyone? This was the best race I've ever seen, says T-Van. So there you go. Different perspective on that than a lot of people have. Duke Chronic says, make Chicago weekend, North Wilkesboro weekend. I think that's possibly going to be something that they talk about for sure, especially if the Chicago race doesn't do well. Good run for Ty Gibbs, says Mikey Hyde. Yeah, Ty Gibbs, he definitely had a good run in the Open. Probably would have won that if it hadn't been for the Michael McDowell controversy. And then at the end, he finally sorted out his car for the big race and took off at the end as well. Nerd Channel says, "What do you think needs to happen to the short tracks to make them better for passing and put on a better race for the people at home and for the racetrack?" Smaller tires and get rid of the underwing diffuser, which isn't an easy fix, but that's what needs to happen. Jeff Henson says short track. Mary Grubbs, hey everyone, what's up, Mary? Hope you're doing good. Napa Racing Fan 927. I'd be more concerned about the car, the short track package, but as a quick exhibition event, it was okay. I think a full field and a little longer race would have made the race at least slightly better. Yeah, because you would have had to deal with lap traffic and stuff like that. It would have been like a way faster Martinsville. Alda says NASCAR should go back to tandem drafting, locking bumpers and a 6.5-inch spoiler. Restrictor plate returns down to 500 horsepower. I mean, I like the tandem drafting myself. So I thought that was a good era. And also the drivers being able to talk to each other in that era was fun too. Elaine says drivers, they didn't care. First place money and nothing else. So there you go. They were going for it tonight for sure. Duke Chronic, 2 rookies won the open race, and Josh is a fill-in driver. He's going to the 4. That's a fact. Allegedly, that's a fact. I guess say officially it's a fact. Yeah, he's going to the 4 car. And the 4 car sponsor is going to the 1 car, being Busch Beer. Love the chat, says Jeff Henson. Racing, says Jeff Henson. I appreciate you, Jeff. Napa Racing Fan, I actually don't hate the streaming idea, but don't have streaming and cable. One other thing with races on Big Fox and NBC. Yeah, I wish they put more races on there, but at the end of the day, I think the streaming deal is going to take over. And like I said, people that are fighting it right now because they're like, I'm paying for cable, I'm not paying for streaming. Eventually, cable, in my opinion, is just going to die if they don't learn how to adapt. Let's see. Jeff Henson says it's baloney. Duke Chronic says agreed, BB. Kyle Larson, champion 2023. We'll cover that bet. Hey, so there you go. He is creeping into the conversation of favorite right there with Willie B. And Christopher Bell and some other drivers. Keep Barry in the 48, says JFB. I don't know if that's going to happen. He's going to the 4 car, so it would take a midnight miracle, 11th hour miracle at this point. Let's see. Congratulations, Barney Berger. Thank you for your very much for your super chat. And see you Tuesday. We have to go. Appreciate you, William Wagman. Thanks for hanging out. As always, Jeff Henson says 3-5. Mary Grubbs, I enjoyed the race. Great to see Larson win. Yeah, I thought the race was good too. Like I didn't have a huge problem with it, but I know I'm definitely in the minority as far as that goes. And I know part of that's because my guy won. Bologna Burger, stupid spelling, good grief, says William Wagman. I got you, man. It's all good. I'll answer to Barney Burger too. Maybe that's what I'm called on Earth too. Maybe Barney Burger. Napa Racing Fan, should North Wilkesboro be repaved this year? I'm 50-50 on it. If Atlanta was repaved sooner, we would have had a 1.5 super speedway, says Napa. So there you go. You can look at it 2 kinds of ways. I don't think it's going to change the way it races one way or the other. It's still going to be a 1-groove racetrack no matter when they repave it. So it is what it is. Duke Chronic says, hi, allegedly. Yeah, so got to throw that in there. Chrome Diesel, today is a good 29th birthday present for me. Back at North Wilkesboro, I love the track. I wish I was there. Less gimmicks than past versions of the All-Star race. Just the package is the problem, says Chrome. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think definitely the package is the problem. But you can have your say as well. There is a poll question. What was the bigger problem today, the car or the racetrack? So far, 77% going with the car. Donnie Love, thanks for all you do, Kyle. No problem, Donnie Love. Glad to have you on here. Robert Puckett says he went from young money to big money. Oh, for sure, $1 million richer tonight. So I know everybody at HMS is super happy about that because I know for a fact that the crew and everybody involved get performance bonuses. So maybe this is one of those ones where they get a performance bonus. The charge from the back by Larson was exciting, but everyone else played too nice. Not much bumping and moving folks out of the way, says Matt Robin. Yeah, I think people save tires too much too. I think at some point you got to realize you're getting blown out and you got to go for it. NASCAR should simulcast its cable races on big networks. Yeah, I think that would help out quite a bit. With a water truck, says Aaron Flynn. Nerd Channel says, you think NASCAR has fixed the 1.5 mile tracks for 2023 after the Kansas race early in the season? So far, the 1.5 miles have been pretty good. So I don't think anybody's complaining about them. If there's one saving grace of the new car, it's that they do run good on 1.5 miles. Monaco had F1 historical races with old F1 cars last year. NASCAR should do the same and break out some old rides. Yeah, it would be cool. Definitely at places like Rockingham and North Wilkesboro as well. Noah looks good this week, says Jeff Henson. Yeah, he fixed his haircut, so that helped out quite a bit. Chrome Diesel, I find it funny that Harvick chose to run the 29 on my birthday, and it's also how old I am today. So happy birthday to Chrome Diesel. And also, yeah, it is pretty cool that the 29, sorry it didn't work out for you as far as how he ran, but it is pretty cool that they did that. You sure Josh is going to the 4 car, says Donnie Love? I'm pretty sure. It was basically confirmed by Couch Racer and Bazi Tatarovic on Twitter. Larson winning 3 races this week. Does that make him a $2 million man for the week? It could. Jeff Henson, LOL all day. Mary Grubbs, happy birthday, Chrome. Duke Chronic, I'm watching the Michael Jordan of NASCAR and Larson. Just enjoy it. For sure. He's at another level right now. It took him about a year to figure out this car, but it seems like he's got this car way more figured out this year than he did last year. Mike Ora says, I just listened to the Bubba interview. That was gold for sure. Bubba Wallace to the 3 silver spoon is overrated, says Thomas Haywood. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Jeff Henson says, great stuff. First off, I don't think 2311 is going to let him walk. Appreciate you, Jeff Henson. Nerd Channel says, you saw Bubba Wallace give the middle finger while being interviewed. 100%. Everybody saw it, I think. And if they didn't, they saw it on Twitter by now. Happy birthday to Chrome, says Donnie Love. Larson has won $3 million, says Duke Chronic. Your Cobra says, I don't think a lot of drivers took it serious. Kyle Busch tweeting during the race. Larson going from 20th to 1st. So easy. Drivers didn't care. Waste of time. So there you go. Some people just didn't like the race at all. Jeff Henson saying 5. Alice Carosa says dirt track races should only be for the Bud Shootout and the All-Star race. It maybe. I don't know. Dirt track. I think dirt races should only be on actual dirt tracks, though. So I will say that the 99 was so good, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, he had a good car. Just couldn't keep up with the adjustments that the other guys made. Napa says front stretch victory interviews suck. We didn't even get to see the cool victory lane with Larson. I didn't see it yesterday either. Yeah, it was pretty crappy that you didn't get to see the car raised up into victory lane. So that's definitely a flub on Fox's part. They need to fix that. Jeff Henson says the 99. Ty Dillon, please get out of cup. He is terrible, says Mark 63. Cheers, Chrome, says Duke Chronic. Basically wishing you a happy birthday. Jeff Henson, 99 looks awesome. The car did look good. Josh is winning, says Duke Chronic. He's definitely having a good fill-in sub role. Aldis Carosa, ironic that Suarez replaced Carl in the 19, and also ironic that Suarez also took the 99 this time for Trackhouse. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I'd actually never thought about that. I never thought about that connection, but that's really cool. Thanks, Aldis. I hadn't even thought about that. Move it back to Charlotte, says Kane Corliss. There's a lot of people that want to move back to Charlotte. That was a damn good race, says Ethan Johnson. So there you go. In the same boat as me. I didn't mind the race myself. A lot of people didn't like it, though. Jeff Henson says he loved the race. One pass all night. Not impressed, says M43 videos. I guess you missed the part where Larson came from the back to the front. But after Larson got to the front, you are right. That was game over. Nerd Channel 29, I thought was going to be good, but it was terrible. Yeah, he was just pushing like a dump truck, he said. Yon Fest 200, says Glenn Pillar. Jeff Henson says, except the five outruns, basically saying except that the 5 is fast. I guess when the video of the elevator and the 5, I saw the video of the elevator with the 5 car. So yeah, that's definitely going to be cool. Fox definitely should have stayed around and showed that. BB is fine. I just like the scheme Harvick ran today. Also glad for Larson with the win weekend, along seeing my favorite driver, Jeff Gordon, talking his experience about North Wilkesboro. So yeah, Jeff Gordon was definitely really good there as well. And it was cool to see him out there being very vocal during this All-Star weekend. Send Bubba to sensitivity training for flying the bird, says Mark Barnum. I would not be surprised if they did that. NASCAR is all about doing stuff like that, so it would not surprise me if that happened. Let's get rid of the front stretch interview. And also remember that Dale Jr. got fined points and money for saying the S word on national TV all day baloney, says Jeff Henson. If back to Charlotte, should be at the dirt track and Legends Oval in stadiums. So if it goes back to Charlotte, you want it on dirt, is what Aldis is saying there. Ryan Newman said the seat better this week, cutting back on cheeseburgers, says Mark 63. So, hey, so there you go. Ryan Newman getting in shape to fit into the seat this time. I wonder what Dale Jr. will say about this race and the future of this track on his show this week. It will be interesting to see what his take has to say, too. Ethan Johnson, do you think they will continue to have their all-star race there? Sorry, one of my friends just texted me, and I saw it pop up on the screen here, and he said something crazy. So, Napa Racing fan, thank you, Craig Moore, for texting me. Wonder what Dale Jr. Will say about this race. I just read that one. Do you think they will continue to have the All-Star race there? I don't know about the All-Star race. I think they'll probably have it there next year, but I think eventually North Wilkesboro gets a points-paying race. Until tonight, I thought New Hampshire was the most boring track on the circuit, says Glenn Filler. So there you go. I don't think it's the track so much as it's the because the truck race was good. I think it's the car. Jeff Henson says Jeff is class. Chrome Diesel, if back to Charlotte, then get rid of the playoffs and stage racing from all tracks. Make it exclusive to the All-Star. Yeah, stage racing should be exclusive to the All-Star. I agree with that 100%. Jeff Henson says, Ryan, LOL. Alda says, hey, Chrome, what's your Twitter handle? So there you go. Aaron Flynn, Earth2, KHI manage JRM, SHR, joint venture. Hey, so there you go. Earth2 is managed by KHI, JRM, and SHR. Duke Chronic, Dale flashed the shocker that same weekend and got warned next time it's points, says Duke Chronic. So there you go. It might just be a warning for old B-Dub. Aldis, I don't have Twitter, says Chrome Diesel. Jeff Henson said, yes, sir, Baloney. It was an amazing race. The open was so good, but the daytime, if they started the whole thing at night, that would have been way cooler. But it would have ended way later, too. So I don't know. Traction control worked fantastically, says Glenn Filler. Yeah, so, of course, a lot of people are going to say that Hendrick had that thing cheated up, which they've done in the past, especially with the, like I was talking about earlier, the Jurassic Park car for Jeff Gordon. They're not afraid to do things like that at the All-Star race or any other time, to be totally honest. DW didn't like talking about the 1990 race there where Brett Bodine won on a scoring effort by NASCAR, LOL. That's a fact. I probably wouldn't have liked it either. I love the track, but the racing was not great. Yeah, they need to fix, in my opinion, the next gen car. And 79% agree with me. There is a poll question. Was it the track's fault or was it the car's fault this weekend? Jeff Henson says funny as heck. And Alice Carosa says NASCAR should race all the All-Star race on the Legends Oval, on the front stretch oval. They would not fit. So I don't know. That's logistically not possible. OJ and Two-Face says, should Bill Elliott replace Mike Joy in the booth, BB? Nah, I don't think so. Maybe on Earth too. he's not Mike Joy. Jeff Henson says the shirt. Yeah, so we got the old Kyle Busch shirt on today. Thomas Haywood, you follow racing at Hickory Motor Speedway. Not often, but what happened there this weekend was a total. That guy should be in jail. Jay Crum should be in jail. There's no doubt about it. He's a piece of trash as far as I'm concerned. NASCAR should keep the symmetrical body and get rid of the fender flares at the rear of the car, says Aldis. So Aldis is thinking it's a lot to do with the aero. Jeff Henson, adult candy, talking about three chi. Mary says, sure didn't want to hear boogity, boogity, boogity again. He didn't even do it at the beginning, so but he did say it, I guess, later. I give the booth to Lee Diffie instead, says Aldis. We need Ward Burton for a race in the booth. Ward Burton would be the man in the booth. He's the man everywhere. Leave Mike Joy alone, says Mike Ora. Did you enjoy the race, BB, at North Wilkesboro, Earth 1? I actually liked it. And it might just be because I was happy to see North Wilkesboro back. It might just be because I was happy to see Larson win. Like I was telling a friend, I wish he had lapped the whole damn field. Like, it didn't matter to me. So it is what it is. Jeff Henson says, I love you. I love you too, Jeff. Kane Corliss, time to bring different tire brands back. I don't know that they'll ever do that, but maybe look at a different manufacturer if Goodyear can't bring a tire that falls off more and makes it more racy. I don't know what you can do with a tire this wide, though. Part of the problem is the tire is way too wide. Napa Racing fan, I wonder if Fox will say this wasn't entertaining enough and move the All-Star race to Bowman Gray. NASCAR is in the business of sports entertainment after all, right? Says Napa Racing fan. So yeah, that's a fair statement to make. And let Matthew Dillner and the regular guys at Bowman Gray call the race too. Thanks for letting us talk racing, says Aaron Flynn. No problem. The only time I want to hear boogity, 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 boys, let's go racing. It made me disappointed, says Nerd Channel. Yeah, so a lot of people wanted to hear it one last time. Jeff Henson says, LOL. Matt DiVerito in the 10 next year, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's in the 10 next year. That's one that's not being talked about. Thomas Haywood says not Bowman Gray. So a lot of people like Bowman Gray. A lot of people don't like Bowman Gray. It's all in your flavor of motorsport. Donnie Love says good night. And Jeff Henson says racing. And it looks like that's the end of them. So if anybody wants to fire a few more questions off, let me know. Other than that, I'll call it a night. If not, probably call it a night in 10 more minutes anyway. So let's see. Kyle Busch was penalized during a race for flipping NASCAR official the bird. That is M43. Thank you for the super chat. And that's a very good point. I hadn't thought about that in a long time, but you're right. So we might be looking at some kind of fine for B-Dub flipping the old bird there. Jeff Henson, appreciate you with the super chat there. Buddy, Carl Edwards to the 10 car. Hey, Carl did say he wanted to come back. So if he wanted to come back full time, that would be an option possibly. And also if he comes back part-time, any of the part-time rides, 2311, Project 91, Colleague has openings. So RCR actually has the opening of 33. So it could be any one of those cars for fit. Or RFK would have an opening as well. Will Kenny Wallace make the top 100 NASCAR greatest driver list? Earth 2, he's a lead pipe, stone cold lead pipe lock. Earth 1, no chance in hell. Jeff Henson, LOL. Who flipped the bird? Says Brian Burley too. Bubba Wallace was given his post-race interview. And just before he actually got asked the question, he tried to do the little itch thing like that, and then flip the bird. So he got caught doing that. Definitely on Twitter, a lot of people caught it in live time as well. Haley will outrace Herman in SRX. OJ says Mark Barnum. Yeah, I think Haley is going to be pretty good in SRX. Like I said, she drives cars way better than those trucks. For whatever reason, those trucks don't suit her. Coiler Joy said a few months ago that he feels really good about the Coke 600. Where do you think he finishes? Well, if he feels really good about it, I'll have to say give him a top 12 maybe, somewhere in there. Mike Ora, I've managed to drive 313 miles today and still put 7 hours of work in. My God, I hate my job, says Mike Ora. Well, I hate that for you, Mike. Hopefully next week is a little bit better for you because that sucks, man. I hate that for you. Jeff Henson says, Kenny, LOL. C-Squared 24 says, when does NASCAR just go back to Gen 4 with updated safety and X-Pikes, baby? I don't know. at some point they got to at least think about making some type of switch toward that car when they release another car. That's a good question. I don't know. So Bubba was immature as usual. The track was fine. We need more tracks like this. Rockingham to host the All-Star next year, and Wilkesboro to the Auto Club date. Says Brian Burley. That would be one place you could slot in Wilkesboro. The other one would be if the Chicago race fails. That would be another date. And some people want to take dates from other tracks, but those are the two that you can immediately slide in there. Also, if they don't do the LA Coliseum race next year, that could be another place you slide in Wilkesboro. So a lot of places you could slide in a Wilkesboro date. Kane Corliss says, good night. Good night, Kane. Thanks for hanging out with us. Mr. Monk, they cannot say all the cars are created equal. HMS has the edge on Chevrolet. Kyle Busch is the best driver out there, and he has nothing to drive. Yeah, so HMS is definitely up on the Chevrolet game. There's no doubt about that. Kyle Larson might just go on a winning streak and win the next 3 races. Says Napa Racing Fan. Technically, he could be on one now if he didn't keep getting wrecked at the end of these things. Kyle is not doing a sim. Was interesting, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, he says the sim deal isn't accurate enough for his taste. So that was interesting. This race weekend was a success, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, I think North Wilkesboro hosted the event well. Jeff Fenton says Kyle, I guess. Brian Burley says, I thought they signed a 3-year deal with Chicago. The other 2 years are optional. Pretty certain the Coliseum has 1 year left, which is also an option on their 3-year deal. But it's hard to put the Coliseum in the regular season. Yeah, for sure. So, like I'm saying, I don't know, but there's all kinds of places you can slot it in. HMS has a Garage 56. Did Kyle pass Tech? Says Duke Chronic. Did Kyle pass Tech, or at least get sent to R&D? Says C Squared. I doubt they even teched anybody because it's the All-Star race. If they teched them, they probably didn't tech them hard. Thomas Haywood says first time here. I enjoyed it. I appreciate you, Thomas Haywood. Thanks for hanging out with us. Brian Burley says, or they could put dirt on the Coliseum and give us Bristol back. Yeah, I would like to have just regular Bristol back, and they take away the dirt race and put Wilkesboro where the dirt race would be. That would save money for. Yeah, I think both of those would save money for sure. If you get rid of the Bristol dirt and the LA Coliseum, you save a ton of money, and you get rid of the Chicago road race, that'll save even more money because they say the Chicago road race was more expensive than either one of those 2 ordeals. Mr. Monk says, see you later. It's bedtime for me. 4 a.m. comes early. Later, mates. Take it easy, Mr. Monk. Have a good one. The sauna pays off more than the sim does, says Duke Chronic. Jeff Henson, hometown Kyle. David McSwain says, hey, BB, just jumped on. Not as good a race as I wanted it to be. Damn it. Yeah, it wasn't as good as I was hoping for either, but it was still cool to see North Wilkesboro on there. And hopefully they fix the short track package because I feel like that is the bigger problem there. I could tell after the race was done, even before the race was over, the fans were just very disappointed with the show. Wish they had a better race tonight. Yeah, especially for the ticket money they paid. I'll agree with that. Nothing from Pocris about Tech as of this moment. So there you go. Bob hasn't confirmed it yet, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to throw him out for the All-Star. But if they do, that would be an even bigger story. So it'd be cool. No, I doubt they'll throw anybody out for the All-Star. Jeff Henson says Sacktown, the Bay Area, and back down. Cali is with it. Put their Mac down. Philip Canavan says the more Bubba acts like he does when being booed, the more it is going to happen, says Philip Canavan. So there you go. I don't know, man. Like certain drivers get booed. Some reporter tried to make a big deal about Bubba Wallace getting booed. So that got some traction. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Some drivers are going to get booed. Some drivers aren't going to get booed. Yeah. But I did think it was funny. I thought it was funny the way he came out. So I don't know. I guess it bothered some people. I don't know. Got it. Mark Barnum, Eldora in the Chicago spot. Yeah, it would be cool if they got Eldora on there, but I don't know if that's going to happen. What? No Chastain controversy, says B1624. Yep, he stayed out of it tonight. Jeff Henson said, Bob, LOL. Mark Langer with a thumbs up. Appreciate you, Mark. Jeff Henson says, one blows. So he's not a Chastain fan. Looks like NASCAR needs to fix Bristol, period, and put the old groove back, says Mark 63. Yeah, I agree with that. Get rid of that progressive banking whenever they do repave it. Larson passed Tech, says Chrome Diesel. So there you go. It is official. He passed Tech. According to Chrome Diesel, Mark Langren is still not watching NASCAR, so the ban continues for Mark Langren. I almost called you Mark Larson. Sorry about that. Orange Crush 83. At what age did you know NASCAR was going to be your passion in life? Probably when I was like 3 or 4. I was just enamored by it. I loved Richard Petty's Day Glow and Blue Car. Jeff Henson said, LOL. C Squared 24 hot take. Eventually, the truck series will take the spot up, or the cup. Trucks will sell more. Pony cars. Dale Jr. once talked about this. It could be for sure. So we'll see. We'll have to see if that happens. But that's a fair point to make. Jeff Henson says, big NASCAR fan. Brian Burley says, I didn't know second and third years were optional at Chicagoland. Yeah, so it's definitely optional. Mark Langer said, Bikini still doing poorly. Yeah, she's not having the season she hoped for. I hope they don't repave Wilkesboro. Yeah, I don't think it needs a repave. I think they just need to fix the short track package, because nothing came up tonight. Like a lot of people were saying, oh, the track's going to come up. The track didn't come up tonight. Put Josh Berry in the 3 car, says Thomas Haywood. You're close. He's going to the 4 car. Duke Chronic, Bristol was progressive banking, and it was awesome, says Duke Chronic. I thought they went to progressive banking. I don't know. No cars to R&D either. So there you go. There will be no controversy over somebody cheating in this one. Interesting, old school, but wiping, says Aaron Flynn. Xfinity Series title sponsorship deal ends next year. If it went to Amazon, would it be renamed the Amazon Series, or perhaps return to the Busch Series, like Craftsman returned to the Truck Series? It all just depends on who the sponsor is. It would still be called whoever's sponsoring it. So like if Xfinity keeps sponsoring it, it would still have to be the Xfinity Series. It would just be streaming on Amazon. I feel like if they could get out of this year, the city of Chicago would. I agree with that, say Kyle. They don't seem excited about shutting the city down. Yeah, they're getting a lot of pushback on it. I see this being a 1-year deal, and I'm surprised they got it done with all the resistance they've met. Anyone going to the Chicago race should buy life insurance, says Mark Langren. Brian Burley, I don't see Edwards to the 10. Seems more likely he does part-time with Trackhouse before going full-time again. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he's ever going to go full-time again. I don't think he wants to do that. So I think he'll definitely be part-time. But if he did get the just really the desire to come back, the 10 would be one that he could slot in at. I think they could easily find sponsorship for him. Jeff Henson said that the track is wrecking. Kyle says the NASCAR Prime Series delivering the W's. That would be pretty cool. Amazon is a pretty big sponsor for NASCAR itself. Chicago is ugly, says Duke Chronic. Jeff Henson, great race. Back to Road America, says Mark Langren. Yeah, so Road America deserves a chance to get back on the schedule as well. So I think that's a fair statement to make. Carl Edwards getting the one-off with Roush would make sense. Yeah, they could definitely do that, because RFK has talked about wanting to put together a deal like Trackhouse and all the other guys are doing. The pace car will be at Chicago. Patrol car for the street race. Says Mark 63. I heard truckers on the CB channel 19 about traffic shutdown that will occur when I was trucking around that city. So there you go. They're already talking about it as far as, running their routes and things like that. And Jeff Henson says, funny as if. Brian Burley, Road America, I doubt comes back. I bet the Coliseum hosts the opener again. Rockingham gets All-Star. Wilkesboro gets a date. And I'm not sure about the other, maybe a second date for Miami. I don't know. I don't know if NASCAR is going to tracks with 2 dates anymore. I think they're going more toward trying to spread out the wealth, would be my guess. A Chicago PD pace car would actually be pretty cool. So say Kyle, not Cal. Brian Burley or Chicagoland. I mean, Chicagoland would be the easiest one to slot in there. The 5 toilet paper at the field, says Aaron Flynn. Jeff Henson says baloney. C Squared says, where all the Hendrick cars cheated up the same, you think? I was disappointed with Byron's finish. Yeah, I don't know. They get their setups from the simulator, so they're all just a little bit different. North Wilkesboro doesn't generate enough excitement on track to get another cup race. One hookup, hit it and get it, says Matt Robin. Nah, they're going to go back. They're going to go back. they're already in the rafters. They had re-up your tickets for 2024. I saw that when I was there for the late model race. Jake Elwood on the entry list for Chicago. Jake Joliet Jake and Elwood Blues. I couldn't think of Joliet for some reason, which is ironic because that's where it's at. The Chicagoland, I should say. Napa Racing Fan, the 25 or 6 or the 4 Grand Prix. Won't be a great race. Just hope there's no severe head-on crashes, especially with 90-degree turns. So a street race is always dicey for how it's configured. Mark Langren, and it's usually bad for passing as well. Are the drivers going to wear protective gear at Chicago, says Mark Langren? That's a lot of people are saying that. Glad Newman came back to run in the back, says Thomas Haywood. Jeff Henson says it's baloney. NASCAR should have a cannonball run style race. LOL. I think Kurt Busch participated in one of those. Let's give NASCAR a chance, says B1624. Yeah, so like I said, I'll let the Chicago race happen, but it looks like the city itself just doesn't want it to happen. Byron's car was not cheated up at all, unless he was going for results on Earth 2. Says Say Kyle. Chicago police cars are starring ads for Swiss cheese. NASCAR, good job. Joliet and Elwood is Chicago, says Duke Chronic. Brian Burley, oh wow, renew for 2024 is in NASCAR renewal. Yeah, they had a big banner up in, I think, behind the Benny Parsons grandstand, if I'm not mistaken. I was surprised nothing was announced. We had the stupid Bristol return announcement at the end of the first race. Watch the Indy 500 qualifying, says Duke Chronic. I forgot who got bumped. It just escaped my mind. We talked about it earlier on here. I think it was Graham Rahal. All you lucky LOLs need to take a break and smoke, says a former smoker, says Beast 1624. Jeff Henson, NASCAR. Byron was in the lucky dog and needed a caution, but Harrison Burton was nowhere to be found. Yeah, so could not rely on Harrison Burton in this one. Didn't have enough laps to get his job done. Thomas Haywood, has everyone hit the like button? Yes, if you want to hit the like button, it would be much appreciated. But don't feel pressured to. Love the racing, says Jeff Henson. Chrome Diesel, I heard some car changes to happen next week, starting with taking the V bracket from the front. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard some talk about that, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen. So hopefully they'll do something. Jeff Henson says, lick it, talking about lick the like button. Napa Racing Fan, which is a iceberg deal. He started that. Graham Rahal got bumped. Yeah, that's who it was. Graham Rahal. Graham Rahal, 30 years after his dad, says Mark Langren. C Squared 24. I wish I could go to Chicago, since likely it will be one and done history event. That's what I'm thinking too, C Squared. But I hear Chicago is a bit dangerous. RIP to Connor Badard. C Squared says good night, and Jeff Henson says LOL. And with that one, that is going to be the end of this one. I appreciate y'all for hanging out. It was fun as always, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.